average speeds over 190 miles an hour, 200 miles at the end of the straightaway, and 132 miles the distance here for round number 6. The Daredevils are on the move in Michigan.
Wow, actually pretty buttoned up from what I expected. We've seen 3, 4, even 5 wide into turn 1. Ryan Dye looked like made some contact with Dakota DeMate, I think, coming out of turn number 2. That was close. Dye had to make a huge save. And Hunter Engrave is to the top spot here.
Excellent opening lap here for the 7. Pace in the field here.
Connection issues. I've seen him blinking quite a bit. He's kind of staying in the back of the pack, hoping that it's going to fix itself. Here goes Ryan Dye to the top of the track.
Ryan Dye, a Michigan hater, but I'm sure he is loving this, has a big smile on his face as he is leading the way in the Daredevil Series. Your winner last night in the All-Star race for the Venom Truck Series, looking to go back-to-back.
Going to go by him. I mean, they could stay there for the duration until everybody comes to pit, unless they have some damage, but I doubt it.
Boy.
Now goes Isidro. He's 3 wide.
Oh!
Oh,
no! Wow. Ellison looks like he is leaving space for, I think that's Ty Richter behind him. And so Ellison is not in the best position here on the bottom. Cedar does move down a little bit, it looks like.
Looks like they both kind of moved towards each other.
Bump drafting. Oh boy. 3 wide, and then there's Engrave. Wow. 4 to go.
Roman, Siefker, Watson. Here comes Christopher Hill on the apron.
On the apron, 4 wide for the lead. It's a legal move.
I think Siefker gives him a break.
Hill going for 3 in a row. Also trying to keep the points lead. A lot at stake here for the 101 heading into the midseason break. Siefker, Watson, Roman, and Engrave, your top 5. Dye, Isidro, Claiborne, Flaum, and Aldrich, your top 10. 2 laps to go.
Hill with a massive jump on the restart.
Siefker looking for a big run, but that is a huge gap to try and overcome here.
I think he's going to need to hope that Watson kind of sticks with him here for just a bit, which he does. Smart move by Watson. Farther back, Vroman and Engrave trying to make their way up to the front as well. Not sure they'll have enough time.
Here's Siefker. He took a peek to the outside. Down onto the apron now. Watson going to look to the outside. White flag, 1 to go. Here goes Siefker. Three drivers that have won on the big pack-style tracks before. Watson, Siefker, Hill. 4 other drivers trying to make the moves to get back up here and maybe long shot their way into a victory. Hill on the inside. Siefker had the wing ahead in corner entry. Hill pulls ahead here on the bottom. Siefker still maintaining position on the outside. With the bump from James Watson, they fan out 3 wide. It's Nate Siefker to the line to win it. Siefker ahead of Hill by 37 one-thousandths of a second. Did you miss us? I bet you did. But the good news for you is that we are back. The Daredevil series has roared into the bustling metropolis of Joliet, Illinois, just south of the Windy City. and we are getting ready for 75 laps around the now-defunct Chicagoland Speedway for round number 7 of the 3rd season of the Daredevil series. We've had no night races so far in season number 3, just one night race, in fact, in all of series history, but tonight kicks off a stretch where 4 of the last 6 races of the season will be contested under the lights. It's Sweet Home, Illinois for the Booth Boys here tonight. Your hosts with the most here on Turn 200. My name is Tommy Cook. My partner Matt Williamson will be along here momentarily as we are leading the charge towards what is going to be another fantastic mile-and-a-half race here for the Daredevil series. A quick look at the points and a big programming note for you here tonight. The driver that has been on the hot streak coming into tonight's competition is Christopher Hill. He's got 2 wins and a second in his last 3 starts with the Daredevil series. He is the points leader, but odds are that Christopher Hill will not be in action tonight. And with this wild point system, Christopher Hill's comfy lead could evaporate here very quickly. James Watson in second with a 4th place or better finish here tonight. James Watson will assume the points lead, and Nicholas Cedro with a win here tonight could assume the points lead as well, depending on what James Watson does. And these two have been up at the front of just about every oval race here this season, so it would not surprise me whatsoever to see either of these two walk away with the dub here tonight in Chicagoland. A couple of other drivers of note here that have found success on the big ovals. Dakota DeMade, of course, your most recent winner, Nate Siefker. They are 4th and 5th in the points. They could easily overcome the big deficit that they have right now heading into Chicagoland. And in terms of the newcomers, you can't look much further than Ryan Dye. He has been up at the front of every single oval race here this season. He would love to continue that stretch and maybe put himself in contention for the championship in the back half of the season. This is the first Daredevil Series race at Chicagoland, but it is not our first rodeo on a mile-and-a-half track. When you think of traditional mile-and-a-half track races, look no further than our very first series race at Atlanta Motor Speedway, the 2008 version, where we saw a little bit of moving throughout the field and ended up with quite the calamity there at the end of the race. Everybody was gunning for it. Drew White escapes the chaos and comes away with the very first checkered flag in series history. And then round number 3 of the second season, under the lights, our only night race up to this point at Charlotte. And it involved the largest ever crash in the Daredevil series in the largest ever field. 15 plus cars, half of the field wiped out in the blink of an eye. And also, a crash on the last lap too. Why not? And our only ever winner disqualification. Wes A. Shire crossed the line in first, but incurred too many incident points and was then moved to the tail end of the lead lap, giving the win to James Watson. These mile-and-a-half races are fast, they are tight, they are dangerous. Passing is difficult. Qualifying is going to be very important here tonight in order to stay up front and stay out of trouble, at least potentially. And speaking of staying out of trouble, quite a few drivers after Michigan qualified themselves into the pot for the Jacksonville Speedway Zero-Zero Challenge. I was thinking maybe 1 or 2 drivers would put themselves into the mix with a 0x and a lead lap finish at Michigan, but in fact, 6 drivers managed to pull the feat off in our last race a couple of weeks ago. Cody Claiborne, Matt Wagner, Nate Siefker, Steve Roman, Victor Aldrich, and Zachary Flaum all have added themselves into the pot for the Jacksonville Speedway Zero-Zero Challenge. The total pot now stands at $30. And remember, there are 3 winners this time around, not just 1 at the end of the season, based on a random draw. 1 grand prize winner and 2 runner-up prize winners. And it's all courtesy of the folks at Jacksonville Speedway, who are back in action after some misfortune in the weather department. This Sunday, they'll be live on DIRTVIsion with some 410, 305, and Sportsman Mod action. And we are about to be live with some Daredevil action. It's all around the turn from Chicagoland on Turn 200.
A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon keep, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
No, I've been here a while. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The dungeon labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
Presentation.
This is the Daredevil series, live from Chicagoland only on Turn 200.
Yeah, boys! We're here. Booth Boys at it again at Chicagoland. Weird night already. We've had to miss all of qualifying because of a UI issue that is iRacing wide right now. So that has also hampered our car count a little bit here tonight. 16 drivers have posted a time. 2 more drivers getting ready to take to the starting grid for a grand total of 18 drivers, 3 of which will be turning their very first laps in the Daredevil series. This is going to be an awesome race here tonight. We're glad you're along for the ride. And let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into tonight's starting grid. A driver that needs a big points night here tonight is taking his second career Daredevil Series pole. That's driver number 7, Hunter Engrave. Leaded the field to green for the first time on an oval. Starting to his outside is Matt Wagner, starting on the outside of that front row. The series champion of Season 1, Dakota DeMay, the demigod, starts in third. James Watson could potentially take the points lead here tonight. He will start on the outside of the second row. Matthew Short is back in the field here tonight. We'll give you his pick in a minute. He starts in fifth. Christopher Kresge will start on the outside of that third row. Leading newcomer contender Ryan Dye starts in seventh. Cody Claiborne lines up to his outside in eighth. At row number 5 is Zachary Flaum on the inside, and Nicholas Asidro, another driver who could take the points lead here tonight, starting on his outside, rounded out your top 10 starters. Drew White, the Oval Master, will start in 11th. Andy Poliski to his outside in 12th. Row number 7 is Paul Illison on the inside, and Corey Rutherford making his first career start here tonight in 14th. Joshua Rutherford making his, I believe, his channel debut here tonight, and also his first Daredevil start in 15th. Victor Aldrich in 16th. Then it is Matt Williamson apparently in 17th. He's not racing. Christian Arribas is here. He will start in 18th. Then it is Max Schlosser, who joined just about 2 minutes ago. He will start in 19th. And Joseph DeSiro was scheduled to start here tonight. I believe he has left the session. So that is your 20 drivers starting grid. What I could tell you, Matt, is I didn't punch up our handy-dandy little script because we had so many things going on before this race. I'll tell you this much. Fuel window here tonight, 30 to 35 laps. What did you gather watching these guys hustle it around Chicagoland in practice here tonight?
Well, it's a classic mile and a half here in the Daredevil series. You talked about it a little bit in the pre-race show. I mean, it's going to be wide open, all out. Now, I will say that it seems like the right rear is not quite as bad here at Chicagoland, which is a good thing. means that we should be able to get some pretty long green flag runs with the drivers here tonight, which is always good because the more green flag laps that they have, the more they feel like getting all Daredevilish on us. So it could be quite a good one here for us this evening.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. And while we got a second, Matt Short, like we said, back in the field here tonight for the second time this season. He has given us his 7th race pick of the season. It is J. Robert Oppenheimer, not the actual person, the Cillian Murphy character from the biopic Oppenheimer. So Matt Short's picks are winless this season, but they are good picks. And we enjoy him giving them to us every week. We enjoy him being in the field whenever he can be. And he is going to line up pretty good on this starting grid, starting in 5th. Got a podium in his only start so far this season at Twin Ring Motegi. Hunter Engrave and Matt Wagner on the front row. Teammates looking to lead the field to green here for the very first time in Daredevil Series history. A home race for the Booth boys. Pace car is off, and the Daredevils are on the move in Chicagoland. Thinking about 3 wide, just inside of the top 5. Thinking better of it, though.
Well, I think we're going to think about 3 wide a lot here tonight. You have that progressive banking here at Chicagoland, so you can use pretty much any lane of the racetrack that you would like to. We're flirting with the outside wall early on here.
And again, apron legal here tonight. You just saw Ryan Dye utilizing it a little bit further back in the top 10. Oh, boy.
Still in the driver's seat for now. Here comes Wagner on the inside.
Wagner looking to clear outright here on the bottom, and will. Wagner in control. Joshua Rutherford with the purple lap of the race. 28.825. These guys are screaming. Slowest they'll be at any point is in the middle of the corners, and they're still going about $1.85.
Maid has thought about 3 wide a couple of times, decides not to utilize it this time. You can get through the corners pretty good 3 wide, but the exit of the corners, it gets pretty tight.
Definitely pretty hairy. James Watson up to 2nd.
And Matthew Short, who we've already mentioned, is in 3rd now. Those 2 cars, very, very similar looking. Just different colored numbers, I think, is the only difference.
And Matthew Short, all through practice, was practicing the side draft, getting aggressive with it. He wants to run this middle line and be effective with it. And it's working so far, but we're only 5 laps into a 75-lap race as we are nearly making contact wheel to wheel just outside of the top 10. A couple of drivers have lost the draft. Matt Schlosser, who was making his debut here tonight, and Christian Arribas, about a second behind Victor Aldrich, who's back in the 16th position.
One thing about the start here is usually we kind of see the group fan out a little bit, and then as the run goes on, they kind of start to come back together. That didn't happen here at Chicagoland. They were just all together the entire time. Wow, Short, you were right. He's making this middle lane work.
Wheel to wheel, quite literally. Inches to spare between these 2 cars. Short really trying to use the sign force on this 35 to catapult himself up to the lead. Wagner is hanging on. It is just tense. Anytime you get these guys rocking and rolling in close proximity, it does not take much for the big one to happen.
Drew White gets caught out in the middle here. That's going to shuffle him around a bit.
Don't forget to breathe. Note to me.
Me as well. Drew White, he's sporting one of his classic pseudo-Gordon-esque paint schemes, and those have done well for him in the past. He's got another one on here tonight, and that might just be the touch of magic he's been looking for.
Much like Michigan last week, or last race rather, a couple of weeks ago, anybody that takes the green flag here tonight is in it to win it. You just have to make it 75 laps for that to be the case. In top 16, all in touch with the lead here. It's Wagner on the inside, Short on the outside. Whoa. And they are starting to form up behind Matt Short now. No margin for error here as these two try and side draft their way to a wing out in front.
We saw this happen a lot at Michigan as well. Everybody was together, but they just kind of rode pretty decently with each other. Now, I will say there's been a couple of bolder moves here because we're a little bit closer together here than we are at Michigan. Michigan, a big, wide racetrack. Still really wide in the corners here, but definitely not as wide as we were at the 2-miler.
And you will certainly remember this and agree with this point. The 1.5 miles, they run a lot like Michigan in the fact that it's very packy, very tight. But for whatever reason, on the 1.5 miles, it is a lot harder to make passes on the outside. It was the same way at Atlanta and Charlotte.
Yeah, well, that's why we see everybody. What we used to see, I feel like at Charlotte, at the starts they would fan out, but then as they battled side by side because it was a little bit difficult to pass, everybody would kind of come back together again. But all of our drivers have just been kind of stuck in this pack the entire time. We've seen some great moves, don't get me wrong. Drew White is up a lot of positions. He has fought his way up to the second row here, so there's definitely spots to be made, but you have to be very aggressive, and there's a lot of drivers that just don't feel like they need to be early on in these races.
It requires bold moves. You are absolutely right. Already 16 laps complete. They have clicked by in a hurry here. We think the fuel window is about 30 to 35 laps. You might be able to get a little bit more than that if you go up to 5th gear and ride around in the back of the pack.
We're going to go kick pot cam here with Dakota DeMade. He is right in the middle of the pack here. He's sitting about 8th place.
Chicagoland, one of the historic open-wheel racing venues. The prominent United States Open Wheel Association had several classic finishes here. And we've seen some great racing so far. For the first time in several laps, Matt Wagner clear up on Matt Short for the time being. Short rallies back to get a wing to the outside of the 6. Oh, Ryan Dye flirting with the apron there on core entry.
Oh!
Oh, boy!
Contact! Oh!
That's a big one. That is the end of several drivers' races for sure. Short, White, Wagner, Engrave, Aldrich, DeMade, Rutherfords, both Corey and Joshua, Kresge, Claiborne, Zachary Flaum. Mother of Pearl.
Mother of Pearl is right.
It didn't take much, and it was absolutely on from there. Lap number 19, first caution of the race. Walk us through what we're seeing here.
Well, just when we thought it was gonna keep settled down, it does not. That's for certain. We're gonna go up to the front of the pack here because that's really where it starts. It started with your 2 front runners, and I'm gonna try to find them. My order's all mixed up here because they are just jumbled all over the place. Actually, we are gonna go with that one. So this is Matt Short and Matt Wagner. Those are your 2 leaders here. Drew White, James Watson are behind them. And there's just a little bit, I can't tell if it's netcode or actual contact between Short's front left tire and the right rear of Wagner. And that sends Short up into the wall and then Wagner right up into Drew White. And that is going to, oh my, I did not see all of this the first time around. That sends everybody just absolutely sprawled all over the place, and Dakota DeMade is right in the middle of this thing. Everybody tries to go low to avoid, but there is just not enough real estate for 4 or 5 cars to squeeze through there. So that's where a lot of our drivers are going to end up actually getting taken out here.
12 out of 18. That is the number of cars that are involved in this accident.
That's a lot of drivers.
That is a lot of drivers. That would be a lot of drivers if the field wasn't 18 drivers. But 12 drivers out of 18 is a lot.
Oh, I think it's Victor Aldrich. Victor Aldrich goes for an absolutely stellar ride. And we're going to back it up and go ahead and go kickpot cam with him because he is right at the back of this thing. He sees the whole thing unfold, and you just can't get slowed down in these vehicles. And that's one way to end the night.
That's a ride. That is a ride. Oh boy.
Wow.
Well,
just imagine if we had the numbers that we've had at Auto Club or Charlotte before, how big that one would have been. We already took out 12.
That would have taken the cake for sure. We wrecked 15 at Charlotte last season. We wrecked the very first caution of the season in Season 2. We took out, I believe, 11. So that one ranks amongst the greats, unfortunately, for quite a few drivers who are still in the pits getting repairs done. I believe Christopher Kresge, Joshua Rutherford, Cody Claiborne, Victor Aldrich, Hunter Engrave, and Drew White are more than likely out of this race. We've already seen disconnects from Drew White, Cody Claiborne, Christopher Kresge, and Hunter Engrave.
Unfortunately, I think we might pick up a couple of viewers from the drivers that are now out of the race. And only Wow. I mean,
10.
Untouched, maybe 7 or 8.
6 made it through without anything. I'm sure a couple people made it through with something. And Matt Short says he is out of the race. Oh, God. That's, you picked Oppenheimer here tonight, and I think that was very reminiscent of the Trinity test, if I do say so myself. That was a big boom.
That's about as big as a boom as you're going to see here tonight, hopefully.
I don't know how it could get worse.
Well,
I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. There's not enough cars to make it worse now.
I mean, we could see some bad ones for sure. We still got 10 on the lead lap, 11 rolling on the track. That's it. I mean, that's just it. We're down to 11 cars already. Just out of one crash here. A couple of drivers could return multiple laps down, but that's the long short of it. Is next caution, Corey Rutherford's going to get the wave around, and we're going to have 11 cars in the lead lap. James Watson and Nicholas Isidro looking pretty primo at this point. They restart first and second. We're back underway on lap 24.
You mentioned at the top of this race that anybody that lines up here tonight has a shot. Well, I tell you, anybody still driving really has a shot now.
Yes.
I mean, this is absolutely anybody's race to win.
Their odds just got a whole lot better. Watson, Isidro, Dye, Poliski, Ellison, Flaum, Schlosser, Arribas, Wagner, Rutherford, and Dakota DeMade as well. Although DeMade is still in the pits here.
And somebody who has started to be a bit of a mainstayer at the front of the oval races, it's Ryan Dye. Of course, his first season in the Daredevil series, and finally starting to find his footing here.
Led the most laps last week at Michigan. Finished outside of the top 5, but still it was a great effort all race long for Ryan. Purple lap of the session, a quick study, Matt Schlosser. Right now the 7th and final driver in this lead draft. I believe Arribas and Wagner have fallen off of the back of this group.
Look, we are right back to pushing. They are not slowing down at all.
Undeterred. We'll see if that is the right way to be.
You know, we've had some pretty decent ones this season, but I think that may be the biggest, and I think maybe our drivers just needed a reminder of how bad it can get.
We had a couple of nastier ones at Twin Ring Motegi, but nothing touched that. That was bowling shoe ugly. There's Andy Poliski up and challenging for second, awfully loose there. But Poliski has had nil luck this season after winning the recruitment race. But tonight could be a big turnaround for him. I think he's almost guaranteed a top 10 at this point. Matt Wagner is pitting. I think that is going to be the end of the race for him, unfortunately.
I saw Flaum go underneath the white line down into the apron on the back, or on the front stretch, excuse me, and I've seen a couple drivers make some mistakes trying to get back onto the racing surface. I don't think you want to do that very much here tonight.
No, I think you're right. Oh, dying. Watson, so close. I mean, we just saw it. That is well within netcode range. And are we feeling 3 wide here? No, we've certainly looked it for just a second.
Well, Schlosser doesn't want to wait. He has been running this third lane a lot, and he's fallen back a bit now. He doesn't really have a lot of help.
And no experience that we know of to pull from.
Yeah, he may just be testing the waters to see what it feels like up there before he goes for the big move. It's not really like...
Oh boy! Watson all kinds of loose.
Wow.
I'm about to have a coronary here.
This may be Rockingham style here before too long.
Watson apologizes over the radio. Says he got a little bit on the apron. Dye says he's having a good time, so the beat rolls on. But for how much longer? The beat might stop rolling, and it might be heads rolling here in just a second as Schlosser is going to pull up on the outside and make it 3 wide for third.
These cars are so fast, and they just have so much grip. It's not like in a stock car where you can get a big run off the top side and just carry way more speed than folks running the bottom. It's you just don't get that effect. So that's why it's really hard to make anything work there on the very tippy top. And you've seen Schlosser try it a couple times, and then he falls back.
Watson and Dye. Close quarters. I think we're coming up on lap car Corey Rutherford. Oh! We're not going to make it there. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Poliski, Isidro, Schlosser, Ellison. Ay.
Oh, boy.
Well,
Isidro, one of your favorites for the championship here, not going to have a great run, seemingly. There's a lot of damage to the front of that one.
You said it, Rockingham style. We are just past halfway, just coming to halfway, and we're down to just a couple of cars already.
To be honest, I didn't even really see how this one developed. I'm going to try to take a look here.
Somebody had a wiggle off the bottom. Might have been Poliski.
Oh, massive, massive net code. Isidro was trying to, use more of the bottom of the racetrack than he had been before, and there was a good couple feet in between him and Poliski, and it sent all of them for a ride. We'll back it up here for the viewers one more time. Isidro's going to try to kind of squeeze the 32 a little bit. Not really a lot, though. And a lot of room in between them still. It kicks Poliski up into Isidro. And it sends Isidro for a spin, and then Ellison just can't get slowed up. Poliski lost a lot of speed, and Ellison just got right into the back of him. Flaum does an incredible job of getting through that one.
Well, who's left? I think it's Watson, Dye, Flaum, and Arribas. On the lead lap, anyway.
iRacing's really giving it to us here tonight.
iRacing is on their you-know-what, for sure. The UI doesn't work. Netcode, horrendous. Just,
tough night for the boys.
It is a tough night. All around. For the boys, for the girls, for everybody. Out in Turn 200 land, out in Daredevil land.
You think the old 199 should get in the cockpit and see if he can go roll it around out there?
I don't know. I don't know about that. So I think you would pick up quite a few spots here after a while.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Well, I think if I could, I would probably cut 15 laps out of this race and make this a 20-lap dash. Unfortunately, it's not possible.
Well, we have a lot of racing left. That is true.
Yes, indeed.
Second caution of the evening, so really not a lot of incidents, but they have been quite massive.
And who's to say we're done?
If you're just joining us, you need to go back and you need to go back to about lap 20 and see the absolute mayhem that ensued.
Watson
Alrighty.
coming back to the pits here, I do believe.
Maybe looking at a fuel window?
Perhaps.
Dye comes down with him. Flaum stays out.
DeMade will get the wave around. Kind of a drop in the bucket at this point, though. You will get back to 10 laps down. So Zachary Flaum leading. James Watson, Ryan Dye, and Christian Arribas. Paul Ellison, I believe, got the... No, he didn't get the wave around because he was on the lead lap there.
Yep, Ellison, he was on the lead lap. He was involved in the caution.
I'm not sure if he was just trying to get to pit road or what happened, but he just bailed it off through the grass there. So he will try and catch up to the tail of this field, as it is a war of attrition.
I am just now seeing, and you can barely see it. You can't. It's very hard to make out here. Ryan Dye's lower third, I think, says Matt has a trash Buffalo Wild Wings take. I think that's what it says.
That
he
is
warned
beautiful.
us. He warned us that there was something there. You can barely see it. It's a black border or a black background with black lettering. They're just different colors of black, and I can barely make it out.
Well, he might ride that wave, that take, all the way to victory lane here. I'd say he's got a 20% chance to do so. Lap 40, coming to lap 41. And it's James Watson back in the lead from Zachary Flaum, and Ryan Dye trying to get back up and going here. They have left Arribas and Ellison in the dust. So it'll be a 3-car breakaway.
And Flaum is not waiting around. Flaum looked to the outside for just a second, wasn't able to make it work, so he slots back in line. Trying to create a run here. Looks to the outside again.
It's going to be really hard to get something going, just between 3 people.
It is going to be very hard. You really, on these mile and a halves, a lot of times you rely on the air around you and from the many cars that are usually around you to give you an opportunity to kind of make some runs. Just not happening here.
Arribas has come back from the dead, essentially, there. He's 1.7 seconds back and just caught right back up. Flaum now rooted up off the bottom, Dye to the inside. And Flaum rocketing around the outside.
Oh! Wow, I wasn't sure it was clear there he was.
Not by much.
That was a quick move to take the lead. We'll go ahead and take a view from Ryan Dye, kickpot cam. He's backing it off a lot here in turns 1 and 2, probably trying to Conserve a little tire. He knows it's hard to pass. Maybe just trying to gain some sort of an advantage later on in this run if he can. Probably doesn't feel a sense of urgency right now. I wouldn't either. We have 30 laps left. Just 4 drivers. Well, 5 drivers on the lead lap, 4 in the pack. How do we build the suspense?
I mean, I think the suspense comes in the fact that we know the winner is one of these 4. We know it right now.
Well, that's not necessarily true.
I mean,
Paul Ellison is on the
could be
lead
Paul
lap,
Ellison,
and we
yes.
have seen it happen before.
all 4 of these guys could wreck out of turn 4, and Paul Ellison can come flying in like an RKO from out of nowhere and take the win. It's possible. There was some kind of contact between Rutherford and Ellison right after the restart, I believe. And Rutherford picked up a meatball flag out of it. I'm not exactly sure what it was.
Well, Corey is now in the chat saying it's not how he wanted his night to end. So, yeah, something definitely happened.
Do you see anything on your telestrator there?
I'm going to look. Telestrator.
Whatever that is.
I'm trying to look. He's really slow coming out of the pits here.
I think it has already happened at that point. Because I noticed that he was coming slow around there as well.
Seems like he's disappeared. A little bit of netcode right now. Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't really get to see it, but yeah, definitely some sort of contact, and he takes a ton of damage. I mean, he is upside down after he hits the
Holy
wall
cow.
here. Unfortunately, don't get to see a lot of it. Oh, yeah, definitely some contact with Ellison or netcode or something.
Well, I have just found it, and you know what? Rutherford had blinked out. Ellison was trying to catch the pack. When Rutherford appeared, he was on top of Paul Ellison.
Well, that would make sense. I guess that explains why I couldn't see him before that.
Oh, my gosh. That is... iRacing has ruined this race. Let's be completely frank. 2 netcodes, blinking, UI cut the field maybe in half, at least turned some people away.
Oh, we're fighting for the lead now.
But we're going 3 wide, so it doesn't really matter at the end of it all.
Waiting.
Flaum rolls out of it. Probably the smart thing to do. Not what Christian Arribas wanted, though. I can tell you that.
So Dye now to second, and still using the top side here. And he will pull even.
Still going side by side, though. We always say, but we hardly ever put it to the test, that we don't need very many people to finish the race for it to be entertaining.
Well, we're about to see if we can prove our point here tonight. It's living up for right now, but if something happens between these drivers, we might be in trouble.
Certainly. I think also we're going to be right on the fuel number.
Well,
Maybe just a little short.
We saw Watson and Dye come back down pit road trying to get enough. And yes, you're right. Flaum did not come down pit road the second time around.
I'm not sure Erebus did either.
Actually, I'm showing Flaum came down on lap 36. Ryan Dye and James Watson came down on lap 38. And Erebus down on 37.
Interesting. So it is going to be close. Three of these four drivers have never won a race in the Daredevil series. This is Flaum's second season. It's the first season for Dye and Erebus. Watson, a two-time winner, two-time podium points finisher, and looking to take the points lead here tonight. In fact, assuming that he doesn't get passed by Paul Ellison, he will take the points lead tonight. So 6 cars are on track. Dakota DeMade is 12 laps down, however. So 5 on the lead lap. Ellison is in a distant 5th after his tangle there with Rutherford. Again, not either of their faults. None of these accidents have been anybody's fault here tonight. It's all been netcode and blinking.
Here's Watson. We're going to kick pot cam here with Watson, right behind Ryan Dye. We know that he knows how to get it done. And part of getting it done here in the Daredevil series is ultra aggression here at the end of the race. So what is he going to do to try to make this pass?
Don't forget, as Dye goes up the track, don't forget, apron is open on the front stretch.
I don't know what just happened to Dye.
I'm not sure either. Maybe voluntary, maybe trying to save some fuel.
He went way up the racetrack. I mean, he was right by the wall in turns 1 and 2.
I mean, certainly deliberate. He didn't get loose. He moved up the track.
Yeah.
So I think maybe an attempt to save a little fuel here might be close. Might be right on the number.
Well, if him and Watson both start trying to save, they're going to back the pace way off.
It can happen.
And Dakota DeMade, he is still trying to keep rolling here.
Well, unfortunately for DeMade, he has no more positions to gain.
Yep, Matthew Short in the chat, right on the head, I think. Probably and likely fuel save. And
Erebus is coming close to losing the draft here, so maybe some fuel save gone awry.
Well, we saw earlier, like right at the beginning of the run with Ryan Dye, he was backing it off quite a bit through turns 1 and 2, likely for some fuel save. Let's go ahead and go on board with him again. We'll try to listen to the throttle here. Yeah, and he's seemingly backing it off well in advance of the corners. Or at least definitely into turn 1.
As if this race needed anything else. There's your drama. That's how you build the suspense right there. We are tight to the fuel number.
I mean, he can definitely get to the back of Flaum if he really wants to, but he's backing it way up.
And what this is doing is also keeping Christian Erebus in touch. He's now only 0.6 behind Ryan Dye. He was almost out of range entirely. 10 laps to go. Ellison, by the time this is all said and done, might be in danger of going a lap down. Dye may be thinking he's good now, getting back after it. You are testing the limits again.
Well, he got the big run that I thought he could get. I mean, the car is definitely still in good shape. He can make up a lot of ground.
The thing we were harping on the most before the field-ending crash was how difficult it is to make passes on the outside here. It's got to be more difficult with less cars to work with, but Ryan Dye is sure giving it a good try here. Wow!
Oh.
We've seen many a driver suffer for less than that tonight.
And it kind of sucked Watson down onto the apron, which is very tough to navigate in these cars, going on and off the apron on the front stretch like you see stock cars do a lot of the time.
And we saw Dye and Watson side by side a little bit earlier on in the multiple times. Watson, being pinched by Dye, would clip the apron and get a little bit loose. And we are seeing that once again. But it's going to take something like that for Dye to be able to make this pass in its entirety for the lead.
Well, the laps click off quickly. We will have only 5 to go after they come out of 4 and cross the line. That is not much time to figure out what you need to do here with a limited amount of cars to help.
5 to go. Fuel save out the window, at least for Dye and Watson. Flaum may be able to pick something up here. But will Flaum dictate the finish of this race by choosing a lane, or will he try and stick it on the outside or the apron? Lots of things to think about here in the closing laps. Here is Paul Ellison now in front of the race leaders.
Matthew Short, who we talked about earlier on, we mentioned that he was trying the side draft really, really heavy in practice, and he said it is possible. You just have to use side draft and get really close, which I don't know if you want to do with the netcode we've seen here tonight already, but you have to do what you have to do.
It might be a turn 4 final lap sort of thing. Watson hoping he is in the driver's seat here. 3 to go.
And Flaum undoubtedly hoping that the two of these drivers get together, able to walk away with one.
A caution here would be detrimental for a number of reasons, but it would also mean going to overtime. Two to go.
Dye, he's really pinching hard here.
Oh, man! Dye doing everything he can to try and get up and into the lead.
Man, nearly wheels touching.
To the line one more time around. Flaum up to the outside, back down to the bottom. He'll have a big run here. Nowhere to go with it. He's boxed in. Dye with a surge on the outside. Locking wheels so tight.
Oh,
they touch. Watson, Dye loose. Flaum underneath. Zachary Flaum steals the win at Chicagoland. Zachary Flaum does it. After getting robbed at Pocono, it's 20 to P1 on the final corner.
Unbelievable. We've got another first-time winner in the Daredevil series.
Heartbreak for James Watson, who has come so close so many times this season. He will finish runner-up. He'll be in the points lead. Ryan Dye will finish in third, but Zachary Flaum burning it down. What? I mean, literally, what a race. In all the wrong ways for 74 laps. But a classic final lap here in the Daredevil series. Truly, you only need a handful of cars for a good finish.
It comes true time and time again. Zachary Flaum, he's done it. He's burning up. The engine has gone on him. Let's take a quick look at the finish.
We have to.
One more time. It's Dye, Watson, and Flaum. Dye and Watson with some contact here through turns 3 and 4. The wheel hits the tub of Ryan Dye. Then some more contact with the wheels. It breaks them both extremely loose. Watson nearly came back down the racetrack and ruined Flaum's chances. Ends up trying to chase the car up the racetrack into Dye. And Zachary Flaum in the 20 is going to take the win.
Wow. A quick look at the leaderboard here. Flaum, Watson, Dye, they're in the waiting for interview room. I'm sure an interesting discussion is being had in there right now. Christian Arribas, the only other car in the lead lap, will finish in 4th. Paul Ellison running at the end, 1 lap down, 5th place finish for him, best career Daredevil finish. Then it is Dakota DeMade, I don't think was running at the end of the race, but he'll walk away with a 6th place finish regardless. Corey Rutherford, a muted debut here tonight due to 7th, or finishing 7th, excuse me. Andy Poliski in 8th. Matt Schlosser, another debut here tonight, will finish in 9th. Nicholas Isidro down in 10th. Matt Wagner, Matthew Short, Christopher Kresge, Joshua Rutherford, and Cody Claiborne, the top 15. Victor Aldrich, Hunter Engrave, Drew White, your 18 car finishing order here tonight. We'll get the interview train rolling here. Ryan Dye, another podium finish for you, another 3rd place finish. Man, so close there on the final lap.
Yeah. I thought I had it, man. I thought I had it.
Yeah, it's all that side drafting. You guys are wheel to wheel. It's just it's real tight quarters around here.
Yeah, I knew the only chance I had on the top was to. I mean, I was trying to put my left tires on that first seam. Leave him enough room, obviously, to work down there, but not any more than he needed. And so I had tried it, I don't know, with like 20 to go, and then dropped back just to save a little bit more fuel, which I think at the end I was like 3 laps to the good. So, but yeah, so I went back to it, and I thought I had it, and I think I would have had it. Just when you're racing that tight and you touch, that's what happens.
The rest of the race, it feels like a fugue state, really. The fact that only 4 cars are going to finish this race on the lead lap. Any thoughts about the opening portion of this race when we had more cars on the track?
It was really fun at the start. Before that first wreck that took out what felt like half the field at least.
It was over half for the record, but yes.
I saw a pink car. Is that Matthew Short? Maybe I saw a pink car go sideways. And
I believe that was Victor Aldrich.
Okay, Aldrich. Okay, I saw a pink car go sideways, and I kind of closed my eyes and turned left, and hoped and prayed. But the racing before that was really good. Like we were all kind of tight quarters. I think it was DeMade had a really cool move on the inside of like 4 rows of cars at one point. Which I was sitting there, and Paul and I were like, "Can we do that? Are we good enough to make that happen?" So like I said, the race was really good until Netcode said it wasn't. Apparently, I haven't seen anything yet, but apparently it was Netcode.
It absolutely was Netcode. Netcode. iRacing just decided that this race was going to suck for 74 laps, apparently. But it was a great last lap. Matt, what do you got for Ryan?
Well, congrats on the P3. I know it's not exactly the finish that you wanted, but man, it's your first season. Not a lot of time in the car. You're out here learning a lot. You've come a long ways here in just a few short races you've been with us here. I feel like you're gonna get it done here at one point. How are you feeling?
I am trying like hell to put the 200 in Boost 200 as the winner. Yeah, it's gonna come. I feel like it's gonna come. I'm getting better every week. I'm learning this car. I'm learning that you have to really step out of your comfort zone and like tonight. I mean, you have to be inches from the other person to make this car work. So I feel like I'm finally getting comfortable enough that I can run kind of like I did last night, and also at Michigan with me and Isidro were side by side forever. So I feel like I'm getting there. I feel like it's gonna come. I'm up to 4th in points.
There you go.
Yeah, just running out of races to do it.
We got some good ones coming up for you. Let's get some shout outs going for you. Who do you want to say hi to?
Shout out to you, Tommy. No shout out to Matt for trying to lead a coup today.
Lovely.
Yeah, I kind of dropped an Oppenheimer in the chat.
I just loved how you were so confident at first, and as it went on, you could watch in the way you were messaging. It was like you were losing all confidence that this is going to go the way you thought it was.
I tried to then play the victim card after I was the one that started the coup.
I loved it. Yeah, thanks to y'all. I love this series. I love y'all's broadcasts. Thanks to my not teammates. Which we had 2 new ones tonight. With the Rutherfords. So shout out to them for keeping me calm on that last lap, and shout out to this league. These cars are truly a blast.
Well, you're knocking on the door. Keep knocking, brother. You'll get up here as a winner soon enough. But congrats on the P3 in the meantime.
Thank y'all.
Go and make a hot swap here and bring up your runner-up finisher here tonight, James Watson. I know you were a little frustrated after Michigan last week, coming up 2 spots short. You're 1 spot short here tonight, and just as close as you were last race. But you keep showing up at the end of these races. It's almost like you know what you're doing.
I don't know what I got to do to actually win one of these things, man. Like, I thought I had this under control, and then Netcode decides to ruin the finish after ruining the entire race before. So yeah. I don't even know at this point.
I mean, you pretty much did exactly what you wanted to do tonight at any point that you wanted to do it. It's just, forces out of your control will be like that. The good news is I believe you are leaving Chicagoland with the points lead here tonight. So that's got to be a feather in the cap.
Yeah, but for whatever reason, I've just dropped a whole lot of points this season. So the points lead is kind of a nerve-wracking one, especially when Chris comes back.
Well, a podium finish here tonight. It's hopefully helps the confidence a little bit here in the coming weeks, even though we are headed to a road course next week. Matt, what do you got for James?
Well, I know it's a bit of a downer, but congrats on the P2. You have worked extremely hard this season just for the finishes that you've gotten. I feel like the luck has got to turn around here at some point, right?
I don't even know. We'll see about that.
Anybody you want to shout out or thank here tonight?
Yeah, gotta thank Team Watson Racing Subs. Use code WATSPIN39 for 10% off at checkout. I got to thank Chris Graham and the National Racing Network, Martin Sports Sim Racing Apparel, ZAS Designs, and Dizzy V Designs for doing my paint schemes, and my folks watching at home.
Well, keep up the good work. We'll get you one better here soon. But best of luck next week, and celebrate a P2, would you?
Yeah, hopefully. Later, guys.
Have a good one. Alrighty. It's a first-time race winner. Zachary Flaum is in booth 200. Welcome to the top spot. Welcome to the Winners Club. Man, what a last lap for you. That was fantastic.
Yeah, it feels good to be here. It's been I don't want to say a long time coming, but it feels good to make up for Pocono earlier in the season.
Certainly. That was, for anybody that wasn't watching, you were wheel to wheel with a Cedro out of turn number 3 on the final lap. A little bit of, it was netcode contact, I think, that sent you spinning into the inside wall. It was an unfortunate wrong, but it has been righted here tonight. Were you expecting the gates to part like they did there at any point on the final lap?
I was kind of laying back a little bit, and it was actually Dakota DeMade was in my ear telling me to back up a little bit so we could get a run coming down the front straight, and that helped a lot. So I was able to kind of go in high, come down low, and beat him to the line.
Matt, what do you got for our race winner here?
Absolutely huge congratulations on the win, first win here in the Daredevil series. I feel like it is a long time coming. I think you could say that. When you're setting up for this the end of this race, it seemed like you might have been a little close on fuel. What was the fuel window looking like for you here towards the end?
I think I probably had enough to go full throttle the entire way. But when the other two came in and topped off, I was like, maybe I should ride around a little bit and not crack the throttle wide open. So for a while there, when I was leading, I was only at like 90% throttle, but I was pretty confident that we would be fine. So,
only being 3 cars at the end of the race, is that less pressure or more pressure? Do you think?
I mean, I don't know if it's less or more, but I know when I was crossing the finish line, my heart rate spiked and I was shaking a little bit. So,
well, that's a good thing. That means you're doing something right, I think. And
Yep.
you certainly did a lot right here tonight, missing all the chaos, winding up on the top spot of the podium, like you said, long time coming, for sure. Anybody you want to shout or thank here tonight? I think this is the first time we've got you up here in the booth.
Yeah, this is the first podium for me here too. So yeah, definitely wanted to give a shout out to Sunset Arctic Games. Echo Blades out on sale. I believe it's 25% off on Steam right now. So if you haven't already got that, go get it. Also want to give a shout out to a little business called Huey's Critters. It's a web or a store on, I believe, Zazzle that sells dinosaur clothes. One of my friends is starting it up. It would be awesome if any of you guys could go check it out. It's for really good dude, really cool designs, all that good stuff.
Well, in the closing stretch of the season, you've just moved yourself into the top 10 in points. Any races that you have circled to close out the season, or is it just is the plan just to chip away and keep getting top 5s and great finishes here?
Let me look. I don't even know what the rest of the schedule is, if I'm being honest. I think Monza might be a fun one. Auto Club's always a good time in these cars, and feels good to be locked into Gateway. So
there you go. Absolutely. Great plug there for the All-Star race. Congrats on the big win here tonight, man. Go party hard. We'll see you again, hopefully next week at Daytona.
Yep, we'll do. Have a good one, guys.
Well, the elation that we feel here for the top 3, and as well for Christian Rebus, who is going to finish 4th and take his best career finish. Paul Elson likewise in 5th. The elation I feel here at the end of this race, definitely undercut by the fact that for whatever reason, iRacing has just had it out for the Daredevil series today on August 2nd, 2023. The UI login is down. 2 netcode accidents wiped out all but 5 freaking cars in this field. And then more netcode on the final lap. A blinking issue took out 2 more cars. Like, I don't know what it was. maybe they just knew that you and I were very excited about this race and just couldn't have that. But it's as good as I feel for Zachary Flaum. Man, this sucks. It absolutely sucks. One great lap can't make up for 74 laps of just sadness, really.
Yeah, I mean, we saw how tight the racing was there at the beginning of the race. Certainly, a lot of the drivers had to feel like they had a very good chance here tonight, and for a couple of incidents like that to take out most of them, yeah, definitely a downer. So we're going to regroup, and we're going to move on to next week, to Wednesday, the Daredevil series next week. But, I mean, Zach Flaum, another first-time winner. We've had a lot of those here this season. Always great to get some new people on the box and in the booth. So glad to have him on the top spot. And as he said, locked into the All-Star race at the end of the season. That's pretty exciting. I do want to thank everybody that's hanging out with us here tonight, especially those that came in when the action was dwindling a bit there towards the middle of the race. Matt Short was in the chat as always. Corey Rutherford, Mullet Music Productions, and the King Chops. I call him King Chops. He calls me King Mart. And a little shout out to the boys there at the bottom for sticking with me through the coup yesterday.
Okay. All right. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, absolutely. You know, we're disappointed about the race, but Zachary Flaum getting to victory lane is really cool. Like you said, only a handful of repeat winners here this season. So the Daredevil series, the Daredevil series overall, season 3, has been an absolute blast. And we look to keep that energy going after a little bit of a downer here next week for the Daytona Road Course. The night race train keeps on rolling. A nighttime road course. It is a first in the Daredevil series. Daytona Road Course is going to be a blast. And nothing is going to ruin that race for us. I guarantee it. So that is the next time the Daredevil series is in action, next Wednesday night at the Daytona Road Course under the lights. And some action in the meantime. Tomorrow night, we're back on road courses, this time with the trucks. It's Maximum Velocity Racing League at Watkins Glen. Just announced today, the Truck 200 recruitment race has been pivoted to a practice race. So we are having a practice race at Auto Club. The league is pretty much full. No need to recruit. So it is a practice race. 200 kilometers at Auto Club to close out preseason action next Monday night for Truck 200. And then Tuesday for the Venom Truck Series, it is the None of Your Beeswax 220, the throwback race at Bristol. Oh boy, that is going to be some piping hot action there, bumping and banging in the last great Coliseum for the drivers of the Venom Truck Series. That'll be a blast. And then, like I said, again, next Wednesday, here back with the Daredevil Series at Daytona Road Course. We hope you enjoyed some of the action here tonight. Certainly the finish will go down as one of the greats here on the channel. Everything in the middle, we were glad you're here for it at least and hanging out with it. So for everybody here with the Daredevil series in Turn 200, for the GOAT, even though he tried to depose my power yesterday, it's Matt Williamson. Thank you as always for being here on the channel. And thank you all for watching. Until we meet again here on Turn 200, we say so long from virtual Chicagoland and good riddance. But not before we say congratulations to Zachary Flaum on his first career Daredevil Series victory.